Good morning. Recently, our son Paul happened to be here in town, and on a surprise kind of a visit at just the last moment, and we got to share a few nights with him and had such a good time getting to visit. We were kind of reminiscing and thinking back about life. You know, when he was born, he was actually born with a birthmark just right underneath his eye, a fairly good sized one. He grew up. We thought it looked nice. It was just a part of who he was. But when he was in kindergarten, he said to us, "Do you think I could get my birthmark taken off?" Marcia took him to see a plastic surgeon, a man named Dr. Chris. And he looked at it and said, "Yes, it's not hard at all to take that off. But I'd like to wait until you're just a little older so that when I do it, we can do it with a local anesthetic. We can do it here in the office, and you will be able to lie still and know exactly what's expected of you." He said, "Okay." The doctor was suggesting you probably need to be 8 or 9 years old, 8 or 9, before you do that. Well, then, wouldn't you know it, that was right about the time when we got the opportunity to come to Oklahoma. We hadn't been thinking about it. He had never mentioned it again. But when we decided we're coming to Oklahoma, he then came to us and said, "Do you think I could get my birthmark taken off before we move to Oklahoma?" Marcia said, "We'll go see." So they went back to Dr. Chris. And they went back and the doctor looked at it and said, "Yes, I believe that you're old enough and we can do that." And so they went in. The doctor took it off. And it was amazing. You could not tell anything. It was just perfect. We had to go back to get the stitches out right before we were going to be moving up here. And before we headed back to the doctor's office, Paul asked Marcia, "Could you get me a card?" She had no idea what he was thinking, what he wanted it for. But when she went back to the doctor's office with Paul, there sitting in the waiting room, he wanted to write a thank you note. It simply said, "Dear Dr. Chris, thank you for taking off my birthmark so nice and clean. Your friend, Paul Long." And I thought about that. How often somebody does something for us, and maybe it's their job, maybe it's what they're trained to do, it's what they're expected to do. And yet, to stop and to say thank you. To say thank you to someone who has done something that has really been meaningful to us, even if they're being paid for it, even if it's what they're trained for and it's their job, what a difference that makes. I know what it means to me to receive that kind of note. You probably know what it's like for you to receive that kind of note. To take that moment to write and to say thank you, it's a great way about lifting someone else's spirits, as well as it's going to do something for your own soul. Maybe today, open your eyes, look around. Those who serve you and do the things that you need them to be able to do, take a moment and remember to say thank you. It'll make it a better day for everyone. Have a good day.